Bis la room reden to get to the parsa. Yeah. Okay, we'll just mention one. The Nakuda is like this. The Nakuda was that the Shah that we're dealing with is that Mitzad Echad state. You can see it. None of the video.
You don't want me on the camera.
So Mitzad Echad says it's not the Mitzad Echad. It says that Atzilus is Yesh Ma'ayin, Chacham Ayin Timasi, and Mitzad Sheni it says that Atzilus is Gilei Helen and it's Adam Le'elyon. Adam Le'elyon, we mean to say, what's the question if it's Yesh Ma'ayin or Gilei Helen? The question is not. There's no Havamina that Atzilus is literally a Yesh. That's a Nivra, the literal musik of a Nivra, that it's a Zach which is outside of a Lakus. L'kula Alma Atzilus is Elam Ha'achtus. That's a world that Inyanim and Lakus are Nizgal in Atzilus. It's Nishkin Shaila. The Shaila is, what's the Yachas of Atzilus legabe the Ein Sof of a Lakus, legabe the Pshitus of the Eibishter. Legabe the Pchin of Ein Sof of the Eibishter, Mitzadatzim is Ein Sof, Leis Machshav Tvisabit. So then there is the fact that there is Inyanim Prati which Lakus Kaviyachol is Koilo. The Eibishter includes Milas, Chachme, Bina, Das, different Milas. So the question is, are these Milas a totally different Inyan? Then they don't express the Ein Sof. They're not an extension of the idea of the fact that the Eibishter is Ein Sof. It's a separate Nekuda. The Eibishter is the Shleimus de Kula. So it doesn't only contain the Mile of Bligvul. The Eibishter also contains the Mile of Gvul. So then, according to this beer, the Atzilus, the question is not if it's Yeshmai doesn't mean that Atzilus is no svara, that Atzilus is a nivra, the literal sense. The shaila is it's a chidush, Yeshmai in the sense that it's a chidush, that before Atzilus didn't exist at all. In Ein Sof, there's no mucker for the Pchin of Chacham. So when Neisif to the fact that he has the Maila of Bligvul of Pshittis, the Eibishter is also able to be Mailim as Pshittis, be Mailim as Ein Sof, and to be Nizgal in Gvul, to be Megala from himself, Kaviyachal Mailis of Gvul, of Chacham and Chesed, Inyanim Neflaim of Gvul, but they don't express the Bligvul. So the Gabi Ein Sof, the way it is Mitzad Atzmai, before Tzimtzum, before Gvul, there's no Makar at all to the Musik of Gvul. So the Musik of Gvul is this Chadesh, Yesh Ma'ayin. That's one Eifin. Or no, in the Pearl we say that Sil Adam is Nikra Adam, and Adam the Shalah says Hashem Adam Le'elyon, that what does it mean Adam Le'elyon? That Silis is Megala the Ein Sof. It's Gilei Helen. It's not a Davar Chodesh. It means that in Chachma that Silis is Megala the Ein Sof of Elikus. And it's Ma'irech that that's the Lashon Atzilus Dugmas Atzilis Ruchesh Hamesha Shal Alayin Skenim, that Ruchesh Hamesha the way it was in the Skenim wasn't something new. It's a behemshich. It's a gili of the b'china of Meishavin. Avada, you say it's gili. It's a lower darga. The gili is not on the same level as the helim, but it's the same meaning. It's not a new thing. That's the shayla. So the first that it says is that Atzilus is a dam le'el in b'chinas ak. What's the yichus as dam le'el in b'chinas ak? Because ak is ein sof v'asholo. That means that ak is also nekuda of pshitis. Ak is not tzir. It's not chachma and chesed and gvura, but ak is a b'china pshitis. But which b'china pshitis is it? It's a b'china pshitis that the pshitis b'shteit in them, that he doesn't have the limitations of Eilumis. So if you say that he doesn't have the Akbalis of Eilumis, that means that the Metzias of Eilumis is an Inyan. Yeah, this is spoke about last time. There's one Eif, and you say that with the Inyan of Ein Arech, of Blikvol, that the Ein Arech b'shteit in them, that the Mashal Dibur, legabi Keach HaDibur, what's the Mal of Keach HaDibur, legabi Dibur? The Keach HaDibur is not limited. A Dibur Echad that a person speaks, there's a certain limitation. He speaks one sentence. Keach HaDibur is Yachal HaDabur Diburim Ein Ketz. He has the etz of Inyan of Dibur without limits. So then there's a higher musik of Ein Sof. There's a higher level of Blik Vol where there, it's not only that it doesn't have the limitations of the Tachton. The whole Inyan, he's beyond the whole Inyan of the Tachton, the whole Mus of the Tachton. So there's then, Pchinas Ak, the Inyan of Eilam is, the Inyan of Vol is an Inyan. Chacham is an Inyan, Gvur is an Inyan, but Chacham is limited. Chacham is Milas, the way it is limited in the Tzir of Chacham. This is limited in the Tzir of Gvura. Ak is that he's not limited in a specific Milas. So he's killing all the Milas of the Nivra, because he's not limited in a specific Milas. But what type of Milas are we dealing with? Milas, which the Gabi Shtashlis are considered Milas. Or the Mile of Ak is that he has these Shleimus without Akbala, with in an unlimited way. Mashikin in Ein Sof, hired before the Pchin of Ak, the whole idea of Eilumis, the whole Mile of Eilumis, the whole concept of Milas, of Chachma v'Chesed, it doesn't exist over there. The concept of Chachma as a Mile doesn't exist over there. That's in Ein Sof. That's in there. So Kapanim does so it doesn't get that free. And Ak is in Zabashol good. But Kapanim, he says is the Evan Abeichin to know if something is a Chiddush Yishma'ayin, it's a Chiddush, or it's Gilei Helim, is in the way the Indian is nimshach from the Makir. something which is nimshach v'derech yesh ma'ayin is one eifin of hamshach. Something which is nimshach v'derech gilei helam is another eifin of hamshach. So one of the chilukim is that if there's a tzimtzum between the tachton and the elyon, then that doesn't mean necessarily that it's that it's yesh ma'ayin. That could be also gilei helam. Also, there's a tzimtzum. A tzimtzum means that there's a certain yerida in the eichus inyan. Every time there's mashpah of Rav Talmud, there's an inyan of tzimtzum. Tzimtzum just means tzimtzum derech siluk is a tweede zach. Tzimtzum derech siluk, then it is an inyan of yesh ma'ayin of his chachas. But a regular tzimtzum derech miut, just means that you're lowering down the inyan so that a lower makabel is able to be taif is this inyan. So it's not another inyan. A regular ashpa, when you're always mitzamtzim between the elyon to the tachten, any ashpa, any seder shalshalos, there's that tzimtzum between chacham and bina. But bina is not a chiddush degabe chacham. It's not a new inyan. It's that inyan being nizgala on a lower level. So tzimtzum derech mid is not seiser to the inyan of gilei helam. Fakert that's behemshah to the musik of gilei helam. But parsa lechor is a stira to saying when something is when the yachas of the titzah min hamakar is b'derech gilui min hahelim, then it shouldn't. The musik of parsa is when the ashpa has to be mishtanet, when the ashpa has to change, when the ashpa has to come to a new world which is different than the elyon, then you have to have a parsa. The mashal chassidus says you give a mashal. So a mashal, if you have a talmud which is a keli to seichel, you can't be mekabel the whole oimek the way it is by the Rav. So you have to be mitzamtzim a little bit. The seichel should be massive to the klei talmud. You don't need a mashal. A mashal you need is when you have a talmud that's mechal not a keli to seichel. If you tell him a concept, even a watered down concept, you won't be able to understand what you're saying. You have to tell him a ma'aseh. You have to tell him a psal mashal. You have to tell him a sipur. So when do you need to have a mashal? When you want to give over the nekudas seichel to a talmud, which is on a lower caliber b'chal, he's not a keli to seichel. So then you have to be mishan. You have to give over the Indian in a different way. You can't speak the Indian kameshu. You have to give it over in a different way. You have to say a story. And through the story, you'll bring out the concept. So you have to bring over the Indian durch hashinui. So that's already if the tachton is just gilei helim, it's the same mohos, just in a lower eifin. You don't need a mashal. You don't need a parsa. A parsa you have to have, but you want to be mechase on the Indian, and you want to give over the Indian in a eifin acher the way it is in the makir. So the chor if Atzilus is gilei helim from Chinas Ak, so Atzilus is the gilei of Ak. Why does there have to be a parsa between Atzilus and Ak? So if them enter there in the Maimer that the kavanas of parsa is not for the sake of Atzilus, it's for the sake of biyah. The parsa is taken out for Atzilus. The shaila is first of all, if it's not for Atzilus, so why does it exist before Atzilus? And this and the emes and Chassidus he brings later. I think it's in the Maimer of Az Yasher, but he brings later Mefurish that not only between Atzilus and Ak there's a parsa, but also between Atzilus and Biyah, there's also a parsa. So what do you need to have two parsas? The Guf Advarim that the Mashmas the way says in the Maimer is that if you bow that the whole matar of the parsas is for the sake of Biyah, but Atzilus betzim is a keli to the. So I said yesterday, last time we have a mashal of Rav, which is being mazbal seichos of two talmidim. One talmid is not mesugal to understand the Indian side and you give him a mashal. The other talmid can understand the Indian only through a mashal, and the Rav is speaking to both b'shavah, and he gives a mashal. So you're not going to say the Talmud which is mitzvah to understand the seichel of the Indian. You're not going to say that he now is makabel the Indian idei mashal. Even though the Rav said a mashal, but since he's able to understand the concept, so the mashal won't be mailim the gaviyah. So that's the lashon he says in the Maimer over here is even though there's a parsa between Ak and Atzilis, but the parsa is not mailim. It's not a stira to the fact that Atzilis is gilei helim, because the gabi Atzilis the air is not mishtani. Because Atzilis is makabel the air the way it's mufshit from the parsa. There's a parsa that's for biyah. But the shaila is good, so then put the biyah between Atzilus. And there is that parsa between Atzilus and biyah. What's happening with parsas? See, that's not mamish negeh here. The elam hurt. See, this is a bissel mevavel. Yeah, that's it. Good. Huh? Good. So the nekuda is that. So the beer that they say is another word. I should put over a mic, but then they don't. Yamot von Zeken is kind of. Huh? Good. But upon him, it's not going to be full every night. It's only Chodesh Cheshvan abis. Yeah. So it's not still a Zeit. Don't worry. Yeah. Upon him, but the Nekuda learns like this. That. So the Nekuda is that they say like this. Even up the Pashas you can understand it with a regular mashal. If the Rav, in order to give a mashal on an Indian. So there's two things. First of all, when Moshas Etzmeir the emek of the Svaras Rav. Before tzimtzum, you can't give a mashal either. In order to give, only when the svara is not mayor the take of emek svara, then say you can explain it to Talmud Yeser with the Yeser cut, and you're able to be masber a little bit the svara if mitzumtzum, and then you could also be malbash a seichel in a mashal. In order to be malbash the svara in a mashal, it's only when the svara is not in its element kaviyach. Then you're able to be masber the svara in a mashal. But b'shas by the Rav is mayor the emek svara. so he's mufshit from a mashal. So that's bechal state. In order to give a mashal, it's only when the svara is betzimtzum you're able to give a mashal. But besides that, in order to give a mashal, the Rav has to be in a darga that he's makir, that there's a metzias outside of seichel. B'shas it's mer emek seichel, so the seichel is in its fullest, in its own element. Then it's not shaykhs to be malbish in a mashal. In order to be malbish seichel in a mashal, that means to be able to be megal the seichel through a levush, which is in ganzen nifras from in a seichel, which is zar from in a seichel. It's only after the seichel already there's a tfisas makim in the seichel to metzias which is not seichel. Calls man it's meir the ganze reinkheit from the in a seichel, so it's the seichel is not shaykhs that it should be malbish in a mashal. I'm choshev for it in Nevraim. It's hard to. The only thing we see in Nevraim is that b'shas by the Rav is meir the emek asvara. He can't be malbish in a mashal. In order to give a mashal, first he has to be able to be mitzamsim the svara. It shouldn't be meir the whole emek of the svara. And then when the svara is a little bit diluted, so lachnish take of advarim, so you're able to be masber through a mashal. Saying, but to give mashalim, it has to be. It's just a pashta dugma. This dugma is used for other things, but just if someone went through something that's mamish. A God be a big simcha or a hepech simcha, something very. So b'shas he's b'teich the experience of the Indian and the take of the Indian. He can't start giving examples that what I experience is b'dugmas that thing. B'shas this Indian is mere b'chol teikfa. There's nothing which is a dugma for it. If you're able to experience what this person went through, he's able to share with you. But if I give you dugmais, b'shas it's mere the take of the Indian. There's no nesmagam to say that thing is al derech this thing. When can you start bringing Mushalim and to say that even though he didn't experience this thing itself, but if you know that, it's al derech this Indian. That's when this Indian is not merit, that's all taketh. Then he's able to give space to that even if you didn't experience this Indian itself, if you know that, you're able to have an experience of this Indian. You understand what I'm saying? In order to be masber a mashal, it has to be that the svar is nice in makim, and it can nemendim Indian. Not with the even though the whole take of Indian is not made. That's the parts of lifnei atzimtzum, lifnei ak is not a mashal yet. The parts of lifnei ak, the parts of lifnei ak and atzilus is since atzilus of kosof, he has the tafkid of being mashpia and being mahav and nivraim. So even atzilus itself is not a nivra. But in order for atzilus to be a makir, so atzilus himself has to be a zad darga. The svara has to be in a state which he'll be able to be established in a mashal. We're not dealing now with being mabashir in a mashal. In order for the svara to be shaykhs to be established in a mashal, there cannot be. It has to be that the svara already is able to be seifel on a kudah which is not seichel b'tarasi. Kozman in the svara is the way it's neviah from elam seichel without any tfisas makim. Tamsis which is not seichel, he can be established in a mashal. So before you're being mabashir seichel in a mashal, the svara has to be in a state that it's nice in makim tamsis which is not seichel. That's the parts of Ak and Atzilus. Since Atzilus of Kosaf is going to be the Mahav of Nevraim, Atzilus can't be a makir for Nevraim if the Eira Laki, the way it is in Atzilus, is not makir the musik of not a lukus, of Nivra. He's not a Nivra yet. He's not the Svar the way it's in Atzilus is not a Lubish Namash. But the Svar the way it's in Atzilus is nice in makim to Nakud of Amash. That's the. Yeah, it's not nice enough in the memory. Versteht bechol the Indian. What do you mean third darga? Yeah, there's the svara in a mashal, then there's the svara not in a mashal, but the svara is snish agefrekt mekenem mabazayin in a mashal. That's what it is. There's this b'shas it's meir the whole take of a svara. It's meir edet vavadi. Is a b'masber l'kus of someone which by him, which is b'chal not. You have someone that b'chal doesn't believe in Torah, doesn't believe in Torah Shabbat Peh. So you have to explain to him now the music of Torah Shabbat Peh to someone who's gleiptish to them. That's a whole different thing. So if b'shas b'emes says meir take a amuna, that's what he mean. Everything is nitl meshim misinai. He can't even speak to the other person. In order to speak to the other person, you have to be nice and makim tzazam esatzvar, and then you'll find ways to explain to him even on his level. But b'shas by you is meir the take of advarim that what do you mean? The same way teresh v'ksav teresh v'apeh is both giving meshim misinai. But it's kenen reidim etem b'chal. So in order to be mabish the svara in a mashal, the svara already has to be in a state where there's a musig of not seichel. He's makir the fact that there is Sfran Maisis and Sfran Menshim as Bechal aren't even aware of the musig of seichel. And then he's able to be misyachas to them and to be mislabish in a mashal. But even before the establish in a mashal, the svara has to be misugel to be mislabish in a mashal. Yeah, that's not from Merbia, but that's Bechlal is the. That's why you need a Ak is not the mucker for the Savas of Elam Abri. Ak is the nicer for the whole Seder Shalshlos. Atzilus is a mucker for Bia. Since Atzilus is a mucker for Bia, so in order for Atzilus to be a mucker for Bia, in Atzilus Gufa is Dafshin Zayin and As Makim that Bia is not Agafret. He's not a Nivra. But the Svara has to be an Azam Asert Eifin that is able to be Seivil on a Kudu which is not Tachtas HaSev.
The fact that
It's not. That's different. It's not. That's not a Kudu. That's a different thing. That's the Yuli for everything. Ak is that Al Kuz is not Mugder can out but not. So then you don't have the Inyan mitzad the Inyan itself. Ak is not a mocker for the Mitzias of Bria out Bria itself. Out the fact that Al Kuz is Pasha. It's another Inyan. Ak is not Kela Bria out. Because he's in the level of Bria. Ak is mufshit. Mitzad pshitas can out sein. I was saying the other day in the Mashal Kei Chazrika. So you can't angles the onlish kumen from the Kei Chazrika. See, you're saying that he's not mugbal in that. And I'm saying is you say a dibur echad. One dibur is bligvul. One dibur is not bligvul. The Kei Echad dibur is bligvul, but mainly he has one dibur. So you have the one dibur the way it's neveim said Kei Echad dibur. Inside this bligvul. Then there is a darga which is the chshivas of one dibur. It's another Indian. Bria is not pshitas. Bria is a world that that the Elam has. A cheer is a cheer. Ak is not a cheer. Ak is pshitas. Pshitas can out sein. Can zayin a bein kolechet. But a cheer is not pshitas. A cheer is just the mitzvah of a cheer. So who's the mucker that there should be a mitzvah of a davar mugbal? Al davar mugbal, that the mucker is Atzilus. In order for Atzilus to be a mucker liyesh, even though he himself is not yesh, but to be a mucker liyesh, that itself he has to go through a person. He has to be in a eifin that the musig of yesh is not against mushlo. So the seichel has to go through a shlav that he's aware of the fact that there's something which is not seichel. If someone is in Schanech, let's say, when their Vistach came on that there's Yidden that don't believe in Teresh Vapeh. But I'm saying he has to go through a parsa that there are people that don't believe in this, and to find a way to be able to be Masber the Emes for them also. I'm saying that's Nishmas Haltish thereby. He's not in their level. But in order to explain the Amitas Se'inyan even to someone in Bachutz, you have to relate to the person in Bachutz. That the Seichel has to, let's say a little bit more Bam Choshe. Means the Rav has to relate to the Talmud, which is Bechutz Le'elam HaSeichel. And that, in order to relate to that Inyan, that's already a parsa. The second parsa is to not only to relate to him, but to be Mabash Svara and Amashal, the Slapshas itself. But even before the Slapshas and Amashal, he has to relate to that type of Mitzias of Amashal and Amashal. Yeah, that's Be'emes, that's in the Maimer of this Prat. He's not Eisen to explain this here. He just says that the parsa is not for. But this Etzim Inyan, that's explained in there's a Maimer Oz Yasher. You learned the Hemshech, you learned there's a Maimer Oz Yasher. There his chukes in Oz Yasher Yisrael. Yeah, there is Ma'ilech more by Riches the Prat Etzim Tzumim. So there's huh? Come on. I never really say. Which Maimer I'm talking about? Oz Yashri Amli. It's Oz Yashri Yisrael Li Be'er Enola. So there.
There's a certain mile in the fact that you could have had a shame, you know.
Good, there's a Maimer Retish again. If you look in Shin Pei Aleph in the New Samavos, you'll see. He says. He's Meirich over there. You look in he's a Meirich, but the Etzem HaSaga Sarav Atzmei, Gama, in Begeder Ashpa, because it seems to me. He's Meirich, there's 3 minutes in Sumim. To see in that Maimer, Dorten is more. So this musik before Atzilus is Mahavabiyah, in order to be Mahavabiyah, so Atzilus has to be at that darga from Elokus, which is not Sheilah Legamri Amatzis. If it's Meir Ered Levadi in a way that there's no, so how could it be Mahavabiyah? Even if the Ered is Mitzumtzim, but to be Neis and Makim Liyesh, so it has to be a Nekuda that there's already a Nekuda of Hefsik between Atzilus and the Makim. that's already a person. He's Atzilus is a lakus, not yesh, but it's a lakus which is not sheila legamri and a kuda, which is a mitzvah of a nivra. And for that itself, you have to go through a person. Yeah, this is a good, but I'm saying the arich is not here. It's in Reish Pezayin. It should be. I'm saying there's
Why is one person not enough?
no. Then there's this slapshus and mashal l'poil. The person that's akin is not this slapshus in the mashal. It's not a mashal. It's a hefsik for Atzilus to be aware of the fact that there's a musik of a mashal. Not that the svar is mislabish a mashal. Before you're mabash to seichol a mashal, you have the svar itself. In order for the svara to be mislabish in a mashal, the svara has to be in a way that there's a certain yitzir from the etzem in seichol. That nish seichol is not mufrich. He has to be introduced to something called not seichol. Mitzad etzem seichol, mitzad the svara, the way it is, mitzad seichol itself, there's seichol. Nish seichol existiert nicht b'chal. So he's not makar mitzvahs of not seichol. So there's no afsharis to be mislabish in a mashal. In order for the svara to be begader b'chatim mislabish in a mashal, the svara has to already have an akudah in zich that there's a mitzvahs outside of seichel, and it's nish agefek b'hem, and then there could be the slabish in mashal l'poil. In order for the svara to be in that matzav, that's already a parson. That's already a hefsik. Means there's an akudah hefsik within Atzilus and Ak. In Ak is Meir the pshitas of alakus. In Atzilus also pshitas of alakus, but the pshitas of alakus in a way that mekenes mazber zayin tzimitzer, which is not alakus. How could you masber to a biyah which is not a lakus? Because Atzilus can understand that there's something outside of a lakus. That already is a person. The fact that Atzilus can understand that there's a mitzias which is not a lakus, that's because there's a hefsek within Atzilus and Ak. There's a good of a hefsek. It's not a it's a different beer of a. Yeah, but yeah. No. It's not a symptom. It's by Seichel Arav. It's not. It's in the Rechselik is there should be the mitzias of nivra. Here you need to have the parsa is in order for the seichel. You're saying you have someone that his Indian is to have vikuchim dort mit andere amunas. So if he doesn't know of anything of a kenenish, he's sitting in the bismedrish. Let's say damash toshiv, but it's not in order to be a mocker for that pikeris. As the visim bismach is entailed to that pikeris. That's parsa. Since the rechsilik is in Yoni is helim, lahalim aloer. Here in Yoni is not helim. In Yoni is that the seichel harav should be in a slavish and a lavush, which is not like seichel harav. It's always it's hashpa. That's parsa is different than Simson the rechsilik. Sin asmakim tzazach was nicht lukus. It does. He's talking about yesh bia. There's a hefsik between Atzilus is that he's not Mitzayir, it wasn't the parsa. It's like that Atzilus is makir a Metzias, which is not a lukus b'taros. Okay, there's no zam b'shteim. Good. Let me send the Omni in Shlemer. Yeah, we read inside. Let me send the Omni in Shlemer. Huh? Okay, so let's learn the Maimer. I'm saying you learn if you. It's nicht so ganz besonder Indien. If you learn the Maimer, you should. Good, okay. I'm saying so. Da guys, I'm versteht ein bisschen die Gufa Maimer. Kann man schön nehmen was. We'll see what's the negate to the Gufa. Good, man should say what's negate to the Gufa. Amir Shleim. גם לגבי הקו ונמשך מאיר אינסוף גם לגבי הקו ונמשך מאיר אינסוף שלמה לו מבחינס אק so here says a ufti. So here what we're saying till now, this is a very important point. What we're saying till now is that Atzilus is not a dam le'eldian tam legabi amita say insof legabi eir insof amita say insof Atzilus is yesh ma'ayin, it's a chidush gomer. And the fact you say Atzilus dam le'eldian is legabi adam kadm. So when he says here omni mishlemer the gam legabi akav ונמשך מאיר אינסוף שלמה לו מבחינס אק gam legabi b'china zu shach leber tzos b'china dam le'eldian is not just saying. It's not the uft over here is not just we're saying a higher level. Till now we said that it says dam le'eldian only for ak. Now we're adding not only ak, even a level higher than ak. Even the kav, which is higher than ak, it's not a question of a higher level. It's a whole new Indian. Kav legabi ak is another Indian in Gans. Because Adam, the haschol of the Indian of Tzior is in the beginning of Adam Kadmon. Adam Kadmon is the first Tzior. The Adam HaKadmon. That means the first, the Moked Achir Rishon to the Musik of Seder Shtalshalos is Ak. So even we were saying last time that Ak is that in was besteht is Pshittis. It's nefesh neise keiches. So there go Pshittis. We're not dealing with tzir. We're dealing with the fact that Elokus is mufshit, and therefore there can be tzir. But Ava became in was besteht the Pshittis. In other words, the Maila is, or as I was saying before we get to this, you have to remember very clearly. In Ak, you're saying the Maila is Adam, the Maila is Tzir, the Maila is Chochmeh, Chesed, the Gura, the Feres. Mailis, which in Seder Shalshos are considered Mailis. Now, in Seder Shalshos, Chochmeh is only Chochmeh, Bina is only Bina. Adam Kadman is, because the Eibusher is not Mugbal, so he's Kailal all Mailis. You see, the Eibusher is not Mugbal in any specific Shlemus, therefore he's Kailal any Shlemus. But what type of Shlemus are we dealing with in Adam Kadman? The Shlemus of Tzir. Not Shlemus that wasn't as gal in Seder Shalshos. The Seder Shalshos is a certain framework of what's considered Shlemus. What's to understand the beer in them? From Chabad, Chagas, and Nehi. Adam Kadman is, in was besteht, das Elokus nicht Mugbal. We're not Mugbal in a specific Shlemus. B'meila can alt sein. What's alt? These inyanim. Means, Mash'enken, we're speaking about Amitas Ein Sof. In order to say the Musik of Adam Kadman, that's only after Tzimtzum Rishon. If Tzimtzum Rishon was Machadish, the Musik of Eilumis. There's a Musik of Seder Shalshos. There's Chochmeh, there's Chesed. There's a Musik. Tzfan Azam is Zach was said Anguru from Chochmeh v'Chesed. And then only after that you can say that was Bashteit the Pshittis of Elokus that he's not Mugban in a specific Maila can alt sein. Mash'egen Lifnei Tzimtzum, the Eibusher Mitzad himself is Ein Sof. Ein Sof, there's no Chochmeh, there's no Chesed, there's no concepts outside of Ein Sof. Tachas Ein Sof, there's no concept of any Inyanim B'chal. And not only, and it's bleak vul merema from the Musig of Mayas. Not only bleak, it's nishtaz azach. Adam Kadman is a bria. We're in a chadish mitzat tzimtzum and is chadish geworden together of mitzias of Eilumis, the Milas of Eilumis. Mashayim said lifnei tzimtzum mitzat ein sof. It's nishtaz. There's no such a concept. So when you say so, Atzilis is tzir, Chochmeh, Chesed. If you say Atzilis is megala Adam Kadman, it's megala the Pshittis of Elokus. That's coming verstehen. When you say that Atzilis is Adam Aleli into Kav is earning sof. The Nukud of Eir is not the Makar for Bria. Eir is the spashas of the Etzim, the Gilei Etzim. What's the Etzim? The Etzim is Ein Sof. The Etzim is the Eibusher himself. The way it's mufshit from Tzir. So Kav is the Gilei of Ein Sof. Achat Tzimtzum, whatever the Biyurim are, but Kav is Eir. Eir is the Gilei Amar. Not the way the Makar is a Makar for a Metzias. The Gilei of the Mar. So if you say that Atzilis is Adam Alel into Kav, to Eir Kav, you're saying that Atzilis, through Atzilis is expressed the ultimate Pshittis in Ein Sof of Elokus. That's a whole different type of Chiddush. Versteht die Mini? That's another certain. It's not Shemit. That's something else. That's Bechlal. That's even that's another union. So here he said this. The Gam, the Gabi Kavim Shechmeir in Sof, Shula Mailim B'chinas Ak, Gam the Gabi B'chinas Zu Shayach Lemet Hazu B'chinas Adam Alel. Ay Bazay, if you're saying that even Legabi in Sof Shula Mailim Etzins, even Legabi Kav. I'm sorry, not even Legabi Kav. Atzil Adam Alelin. So Lepoil Shtedach VaChochmeh Me'ayin Timotze. Mashnikar Yesh Me'ayin. So Legabi Atzvos in Sof Shula Mailim Yakav. So now we're saying there's two dargis, or this is not two dargis. Kav, you have to remember always, Kav is not a makar leilumis. The makar to Metzias is Keich HaGvul, Tzimtzum, you have the Reshimu, you have Keil, that's a makar for Metzias, for Gvul, for Malas of Seder Shalshos. Kav is Er means the Gili Amor. Not a makar for a Metzias, which is not the Mor. Kav is the Gili of the Mor. The Mor is Ein Seif. The Mor is the Etzim, which is Ein Seif. Kav is the Gili Amor. In Eir itself, there's two dargis. There's the Atzmas Eir, which the Gabi that, the Atzilus is Yesh Ma'ayin Mamish. And the Gabi Kav, which is Gili Amor, the Gabi Kav, it's Gili Helm. That's not Mishivashtain. We're not dealing with L'chor, if Kav is Eir, the whole Agdor of Eir is, if it's not this Pashtas, the whole, what's the difference between Eir and Shefa usually? Shefa is, the Rav is not, when the Rav is being Masber Seichot HaTalmid, he's not venting, he's not being mispashet. It's not that whatever the etzim is, shteit bezgalus. He's lowering himself down. He's being malbish the seichel. The behesim to the seichel atam. That's not er. That's not a spasha somewhere. Er means that the etzim kamesh who is mispasha. He's whatever he is naturally, he's projecting. He's being nisgal. So kav is er, and er is mein amar. So kav is mein the atzmas in itself. So if it says gilei helim to a kav, how could it be yesh ma'ayin the atzmas in itself? That's the Chodesh Tirim in Eibeh. If it's Helam Tekav means that through Atzilis is expressed the Ein Sof of Eir. And Kav is Me'ein Amor to the Etzim. So how can it be that Atzilis is Yesh Ma'ayin Mamish the Gabi the Etzim? He's going to speak about it. Yeah, I'm saying that. But he's going to start. He says like this. Yeah. So he says to explain this. The first arichis is Meirich. The second eifin starts in Adam Kiyakir. He goes arichis the first eifin. Adam Kiyakir. Reish Nun Ches. Yeah, calls off. Yeah, and then, but Reva Drushim, and the paragraph starts. Page Reish Nun Ches. Calls it. So So here he brings two shittas legabe erakav. So like this. The former mavur dakav am shar shebchanas gulamida. Means there's two shittas. Was wird gebracht nach Sidis. What's the that brings sich in Kisvei Arizal that Kedem at Tzimtzum was Ein Sof Amala Makam Achol. It was Ein Sof. Then there was the Tzimtzum, which is the Makar for Gvul, for Eilemis. And then after Tzimtzum, Chazar V'Heir, the Erakav. So that's Chassidus Mazra always. The Chazar V'Heir, it's Lifnei at Tzimtzum was this Pashas of Ein Sof. Tzimtzum is the Makar for Bria. What's the Erakav? Erakav is that Chazar V'Heir, the Eir Shel Lifnei at Tzimtzum. That's the Erakav. It's not the Erakav is that it was nimshach something which is the Fi'er Chayilimis. Chazar V'Heir, the Eir in Sof, the Tnu of Eir was Meir in Welt. But there's two shittas. What's the Agdar of Erakav? So there's one shitta is the Kav is Avshar B'chinas Gulamida. It's one Avshar, one in. Where is it? The Kav is Avshar B'chinas Gulamida. That means that Kav is the Ratchila Erakav. It's not the Erakav is Blik Vo. And then Mitzad Kelim, let's say. It comes back Bala. The Ratchila Erakav is an Er which is Nimshach B'chinas Gulamid. The Ratchila it's a Gilu which is Shaychas Tegvul. We'll have to see what that's one shit. We'll see the Prat. It brings it this. Where is it? From a word that Kav am Shachos B'chinas Gulamid. Which because of Terei Batesis Bir Devilu V'Shmalchus, she has Beis Miriam Shachos Me'er in Sof Baruch. Two types of Amshachos. It means that Pashas it means there's Eir in Sof, and there's two Eifanim how Eir in Sof is Nimshach, expresses himself. That's the Pashas Mashmos. Yesh Beis Miriam Shachos, you have Eir in Sof. How is it Nimshach? Wie wird das Gala Eir in Sof? In was for that Tnua is in Nimshach and is Gala? There's two different sugim Eifanim of how this in Sof is Gala. We'll see because the next number is a little blame Nishta in the next one. It's saying Pashas Havana here. What's what Beis Miriam Shachos? You have one Inyan. Place you have just to bring this dogma. It's not nothing to do. I'm just saying the dogma. Chassidus says you have the Svar of Yitzchak Adam Ram and Urav. So that's the Svar of Klolis. Yitzchak Adam Ram and Urav. From this Svar you could say B'Meila we should have Rachmanas on him, or Fakert you should. So there's no need for it. So you say this Svar could bring within itself could be expressed in two different ways. It's not two different svaras. Ein svara. It could be expressed. So out there they say that there's one Eir Ein Sof. Eir Ein Sof is Ein Sof. There's two Eifanim how Ein Sof can be expressed. That's the mashmos. Beis Miriam Shachos. There's one Amshacha is Dr. Azeh. One Ha'alif B'chinas Ein Sof. We'll see later because the next time was a little uftan is that it's not stamped. There's Nekud of Eir Ein Sof and two Eifanim via Ein Sof is Nimshach. L'chatchila it's two Inyanim and Ein Sof Gufa. In Ein Sof Gufa there's two Inyanim. It's not that there's Eir Ein Sof, and there's two Eifanim. V'er Zok Tzechareis, how he's Nimshach, how he expresses himself. L'chatchila there's two Inyanim and Ein Sof. But Le'esata we're learning that there's two mini Amshachis, Meir Ein Sof. What does that mean? Was sagt Ein Ha'alef B'chinas Ein Sof Mamish. The first one is this, was as the Herzach Ein Sof. And das versteht, the Eibishter is Ein Sof. B'shas is Nimshach, and he's Nirgash. When he's Nirgash in Eilemis, what's Nirgash? Ein Sof. Blikvul. Ein Sof Mamish. V'hainu am shach b'chinas shavad dum adano emlich. So b'chinas machas Ein Sof. Shu b'chinas sev v'makav hakol kol seish ta'ashalis. So that's the b'chinas of ano emlich. Now there is ano emlich the way it is achalat tzimtzum, the sphere of malchus. So malchus achalat tzimtzum in Atzilis is pashet ano emlich to be a melech. But then the Chassidus says there's musik of malchus lifnei tzimtzum. The musik of machshav akdum adano emlich. The machshav akdum adano emlich is same way a melech is meremim b'snase. He's higher than the whole am. Al derech ze Ein Sof is moved al gamri from the whole gather of Eilemis. See, so what? In other, it's Meir. What's the Amshach? The first Amshach of Ein Sof. The Eibush says Ein Sof mamish. and all elements are batla b'mtzias. They don't exist. That's the p'china of malchus shelifnei tzimtzum. Malchus la'achar tzimtzum is the mtzias of elemis, and the Eibusher is shelit aleim. He's their melech. When I'm saying that the malchus b'shershi in machshava gduma don't emlech shlifnei tzimtzum is masber over here. The musik of malchus is that the Eibusher is ein sav b'tachlis, and the niv and everything else and all other concepts are batla b'mtzias. They don't exist. He's ein sav mamish. We'll see the other amshach. So gvul vert is bata. There's no mtzias of gvul. He's ein sav. And so gvul is batla. It doesn't exist. It's batla b'mtzias. It says wann entstammt das Tag this amshache that it's nirgash that Eibusher is ein sof and out is bottle. He shelel everything. Wann entstammt das gilui. Es clear is ob khinas gilui atzmus. Al kein bar ob khinas es famish. Since the inyan of this is the mechuven of this is als a cherem der etzem. So ob khinas gilui atzmus. The first amshach of khinas ein sof is that it's the gilui of the etzem's ispashtus. Mitzad the etzem of Elokus is leis machshav tzisabi, is ein sof mamish. There's no concept of chachma, there's no concept of gvul, there's no concept of elemis. Alles is battle v'mtzias. B'shas the herzach der ein sof, vert alles is battle. So this p'chin of which in Yani is, it should be meir the etzem, is also cherem der etzem, is alles battle. So that's it's ein sof and everything's battle. Akein bar p'chin is of mamish. Say others do meir gam kishach achar atzimtzum. And that taki can be meir, but pnimius and elemis. Elemis a gdavar mugbo. Elemis is gvul. So la'achar that since we have a mitzvah of elemis gvul, it's kenish meir than pnimius this because this is ein sof. Ein sof kenish meir than pnimius involved. Ein sof which is sheilel gvul. It's herzach that the Eibusher himself is leis machshav tzisabi gvul's bottle. So this is near b'chinas makif. El sha'ar azui if you eifim b'chinas atzmas in sof b'chinas tzimtzum. V'hainish kam la'achar tzimtzum b'chinas ein sof. V'lachin b'chinas makif is sevel b'vad aleilins. B'chinas primi you have shaliyas. Kim b'chinas makif. Okay, always b'vad is b'chinas atzmas mamish in sof b'chinas tzimtzum. Kim b'chinas makif. Kim b'chinas essentially b'vad. Okay, this is also is not ma'arich in this maimer. Saying we say he wants to bring out that the same way lifnei tzimtzum. There's shnei mini amshachis. So there's too many amshachis. Lifnei tzimtzum there's too many amshachis. There's ein sof, and lifnei tzimtzum there's two efanim how this ein sof is nisgal. And from dort nevert nimshat la'achar tzimtzum there's two efanim that Elokus is meir in elemis. So there's seviv memali. So memali is the darga of Elokus is meir of b'chinas pnimi, and seviv is Elokus is meir of b'chinas makif. But what the nivra is margish of b'chinas makif. So the fact that the nivra is margish of b'chinas makif is ve'ein arech to the shadish of seviv lifnei tzimtzum. The shadish of seviv lifnei tzimtzum is beyond the b'chad that nivra should be margish. It's amidas ein sof. The ein sof, the way it's meir la'achar tzimtzum is b'chinas seviv, which is meir la'achar tzimtzum is sof kol sof. It's nirgash in elemis. It's b'chinas makif al elemis. Okay, just a push the word, just the say the much of the gabi nes. Because we say later in the Maimer that nes is behemshich to this type of error. So you say the mashal, what happens by a nes? The world has a certain structure. When a nes happens, the structure is cancelled. Where's the shadish that the structure inside? Because the Eibusher is blig vul. Blig vul is shelo gvul. It's not mugbul. And gvul is not a mitzvah legabihim. Gvul is bein harichtim. So b'shas is mehr blig vul, vert is battle gvul. Wann entstammt das? Because mitzad the p'chin of which in Yoni is legalis ha'etzim, the etzim is mufshet the gabi from mitzias. So b'shas the herzach, the ha'etzim is shtak mibul. But how is the tnu of of this p'chin of Ein Sof Mamish, how is it mehr lachar etzimtzum? That the gvul is his battle. Legabi the inyan is different etzimtzum, it's not only the gvul is his battle. Lechatchila there's no concept of gvul. Lechatchila there's only the Ein Sof. So the Ein Sof, the way is mehr lachar etzimtzum, is the p'chinas yirida and p'chinas chitzenius, the gabi the inyan the way is different etzimtzum. Because the way the blig gvul is nirgash and velt is, there's gvul, and the gvul is broken through the blig gvul. It's nisbatel through the blig gvul. Legabi the inyan the way is different etzimtzum, there is no concept of gvul. So the blig gvul is not expressed in them that gvul vert nisbatel. So that's what he says here, that seviv la'achar etzimtzum, which is meir b'chinas makif al elam is, b'chinas makif means that it's nirgash and velt, as is an garnish that they're not a mitzias, that they're bottled, that they're bein arech telekos. That's mitzad der era bligvul. Seviv is not the the way is misamtzim that it should be understood to elements. You have one eifin is the elukus is misgal in a way that the nivra is able to understand the elukus. You have elukus is ein sof, and what is the nivra marget trasamer ein sof? The nivra is margish that he's be'en arich. That there's no smoking for his metzias. That gvul is be'en arich to the blik. So that's the way Ein Sof. That's a order of chinas makif. Not that the nivra is versteht is bepnimis. If verkehrt, his margish is en arich. His margish that is bottled legabe this area. But lepoil legabe, but lepoil vi is a margish that his margish is en arich. His margish that is bottled. The midas ein arich is that lechatchili doesn't exist. That in it kanish meir by saving. So saving is the chitzenius of the Eresh Lefnetzim. But it's the same tenuah. The tenuah is not the lukus is mizgal in a way. Behesim to how much the niver is able to be masig. It's the lukus is meir kameshu. The way he is blik vul. B'shas lukus is meir kameshu. So gvul is bottle. Gvul verteis. He says there's dargis in it. I'm saying, but the mahus is one mahus. The mahus is not that we're meir in a way that we're mischashiv and behesim to the how much the mekabel is able to be mekabel. The nekudah is also chenet that etzem is mufshit and the ein arich tevel. In the ein arich of the etzem to mitzias, in the ein arich of ein sof to gvul, there's many dargis. There's the way it is in the ein sof shlifn and tzimtzum mamish, and the way it's nirgish lachar tzimtzum. But the nekudah is one nekudah. The nekudah is shlilas mitzias. The nekudah is not mugbal mitzias. Hecher from mitzias. So it's one mahus. The question is in vas farefin is meir der mahus. So there's dargis, but the nekudah is one mahus of shlilas mitzias. Bitul gvul, bitul dar, bitul mitzias. He says, he says, he orders you come to Meir la'achar tzimtzum. And la'achar tzimtzum, what's that? It's meir la'achar tzimtzum. It's meir la'achar tzimtzum means that it's meir and it's nirgash in welt. But l'chor it's the hecher from welt. So it's b'chinas makif. What's b'chinas makif? That it's the nivra is not margish. The nivra is margish is a dover hameroim and v'niskav shalei lefi erech is mitzvah. That's b'chinas makif. But meir leveter in his bata. He's margish. You see someone standing in front of a chacham gadol. Versteht nicht, someone's in front of the Rogat. He doesn't understand, but he's margish that this person is be'en arichtin. He has no tfissa in the godless of that person. He's margish, but that he's be'en arich mamish. That's b'chinas makit. Even though it's mer lachar, sure, so b'chilifei from b'chinas eira atzmos, the insav shlifin is. What's the mechuvan of this area? In vas para'ifin is meir? Is he meir lachar atzimtzum behesim with the kolam of achar atzimtzum, which is your mischasha with velt, or is meir l'fe'efan ha'etzim? So the b'chinas ha'seviv, even though he's meir lachar atzimtzum, but is meir l'fe'efan ha'etzim. Yeah, that's the guy lachar atzimtzum b'chinas ein sof. It's not the ein sof which is nesamad. But l'chenim b'chinas makif seviv v'ata lo'elamis. Ki b'chinas pnimi ef shaliyas. Ki b'chinas makif. Es bevadish ein b'chinas eir atzis mamish and such lived at tzimtzum ki b'chinas chitzedish le'levad. Mikom kam nish zam b'chinas eir atzis the ein sof. Sifon der. In other words, it's the same mahus ha'er. It's the mahus of this ha'er as a chen and the etzem. Not be nesin makim tamitzias. It's as a chen and the etzem k'mei shehu. And again b'chinas haziv. Va'orish b'chinas chitzedish b'chinas eir av b'chinas ein sof. And b'chinas ein male it's bottle it's mevatel the mitzias.
The chilik is that whether you be mevatel for and the chilik is not for.
It's not the chilik is. I'm saying they're saying savko sav. It's not. I'm just saying a dugma that the Indian the way it is be'etzem is shalei be'eretz. The Indian the way it is meir in the mekabel. I'm saying it's not.
Why is it not the same?
Good, but I'm saying the Maimer doesn't. That's just a hesber, a dugma that there's it's the same Indian, but the Indian the way it is ba'atzmusay is not nirgash in the mekabel. Good, so that's but there's many dargis. There's many dargis in Seviv, and the way the makar of Seviv, the way it is the Fnat Simsim. Many chiluk. Befin kloli, it's the. Yeah, we'll see these pratim. This is the Babanish. Yeah, that's the Ein Sof. What's the pratim? What's Madabris? This Amshach B'chinas Ein Sof is, first of all, what's the mechuvan of this Amshach? The mechuvan of this Amshach is, what's the lashon that he says here? Shezo B'chinas Gilei Eir Atzmosei. There's the etzem, and then there's the Gilei of the Eir Etzem. So the mechuvan of this Eir is that the etzem should be made. The etzem should be nirgash. Nothing to do with Eilamis. The etzem kamei shehu should be made. The etzem kamei shehu is Ein Sof. But Shaz Dasim Meir is nirgash that everything's bein arech. Batla b'mtzias. That's one thing. Then he says Amshacha Beis is also Amshacha from Eir Ein Sof. This is not Kalim. But it's the B'chinas Gvul Amida. It's also that it's Meir der etzem. But the etzem is here. It's not Ezgetaish, but in other places more Ezgetaish. That here the mechuven is also that it's the spashis v'gilei etzem, But the kavan of this is that the etzem should be meir in a way that the nivra should be mekabel there. That's the ufta of this The etzem zal meir sein nicht by being shalel, nicht, but it should be meir in Welt. That's the kavan of this air. The Eibusher is not. It's also Indian of air, and the Kud of air is Gili Amor. But Gili Amor, their eifim be their meir zal meir sein should be in a way that the gvul should be able to be mekabel and be margish with pnimius this gili, not in a way that the gvul should be in his battle. It's the fact he's able to be meir through gvul. Yeah, just remarking this because we're saying before there's musik of kelim is gvul, and then he's saying over here is that there's the amshach kav, there's the ur which is nimshach in his gvul. It's two separate musagim. It's nicht zal bazar. So there's kelim is gvul, elukusim in his gvul. Then there's what he's saying here that there's amshach of ein sof in his gvul amidah. Kav. See what's in the rezach. See, I heard once from I think Mel Tzibel said this mashal that you say you have the mashal you have different tnuas. You have chachma, chesed, you have ave, you have yira, you have kabbalah sel. You have someone that he's being masber the mile of kabbalah sel. You have someone being masber the mile of avos Hashem, masber the mile of yiras Hashem. See, so he is that there's the tnu of kabbalah samach shemayim, the tnu of being koi for yourself. There's the tnu of avos, two separate tnuas. There's kabbalah samach shemayim, there's tnu of avos. Someone being masber the mile of avos Hashem, or being masber the mile of kabbalah samach shemayim, does it have anything to do with the tnu of kabbalah samach shemayim? He's not. He's saying a svara. He's saying a hezber sichri. He's speaking a svara. A svara has to be malubish in a certain topic. You can't just speak about the. So what topic is he dealing with? He's dealing with kabbalah samach shemayim. That has nothing to do with the tnu of kabbalah sel. It's a tnu of seich. Besides someone being masber the svara of the mile of avos Hashem, someone being masber the mile of yiras Hashem, the mile of kabbalah sel. It's not that the svara is now. It's not the tnu of kabbalah sel, the tnu of avos. It's seichel. But seichel is using different topics in order to say us. The point is, it's a svara. It shows in what topic is the svara being discussed. I'm saying is you could have something which is malubish in the Indian of kabbalah sel, but has nothing to do with kabbalah sel. It's not the tune of kabbalah sel at all. When you say that eir is b'chinas bolomida and kelim are gvul, kelim is tzir, kelim is chachma v'chesed, and it's milas mukbalis, keiches of chachma v'chesed. Eir is never chachma v'chesed. Eir is to be megadah that the Eibusher is ein saf, hulu v'adu yuve ein zolase, and that everything is bottled in tzis. The ufta of the hamshach b'chinas bolomida is the shayla is in what language, in order to drive home the point that Elikus is hulu v'adu yuve ein zolase, that ein arech l'cha, that everything is nothing in the Gabi Eibusher. What language do you have to use? Do you have to be shayla vel? You have to make an S and break vel, or you could use the musagam of vel to express that hulu v'adu yuve ein zolase. When you say the kav is amshach b'chinas bolomida, it's not that kav is gvul. Kav is ain't safe. Kav is gilei amar. Kav is er. But the amshach of this er is in the pchin of gvul. He uses musagam of gvul to bring out that everything's that the Eibusher is ain't so. It's a different word. You say that seichel there's amshach b'chinas kabbalah sel. There's amshach b'chinas ave. It's seichel discussing kabbalah sel. It's not the tunu of kabbalah sel. It's seichel. It's a svara malubish in the Indian of kabbalah sel. So kelim is gvul. That's it. Kelim is gvul. Kelim would be the tunu of kabbalah sel itself. It's gvul. Kav is never gvul. Kav is that in sof could express himself through using the language of gvul. It's never gvul. The nekud of is to bring out that the Eibusher is ain't safe and bli gvul, not gvul. The question is, in order to express the fact that it's bli gvul, so is the only language you could use is bittul gvul, or you could explain that the Eibusher is ain't safe. You could use chachma and not. So we're not acing now the mile of chachma, and chachma is not a mile of chachma. We're using chachma just as a hechetimtze to explain that chachma is nothing. That the Eibusher ain't safe. It's a different Indian. Good, that we're going to see later. That we're going to see later how it is. I'm saying the Gufa Indian. I'm sure Shulchan Zvila is not Kalim. Kalim is Gvul. Kalim is that in Elikus there's a makkah for Metzias. There's a makkah for Keiches. You say in the Gabi the Nefesh, there's the Pshitas HaNefesh, which is higher than Keiches. I say the Rasan HaNefesh, and then there is Keiches. You have Keich HaSeichel, Keich HaAve. So then you could use where we want to express Pshitas HaNefesh. The question is, in order for this Pshittas to be expressed, what language, could you use the language of Chachma v'Chesed or not? So according to the second beer, in order for there to be Nizgal in Welt, that the Eibusher's Blik Vol is Ein Sof, you don't have to be Shayla Welt, even the world the way it is in its gather, could also come to the recognition that there's a Blik Vol. Come to the recognition that there's a Blik Vol, that there's something which is higher than Welt, not Gvol. So just to bring out this point, we say later in the Maimer, he says later that this, you see the Nivra himself is Mugbal. The Poil, we see that there's a Nakud of Nitzchius in Welt. Chazakim became Ibarra. There's the end of Tmidius, Shemanagas Ateva. Now, Tmidius Shemanagas Ateva. The Blik Vol and Gvol is Ve'en Arech Zalazeh. A Nivra is a Mugbal. Mitzad Gedra Nivra, he should be a hefsik, there should be shinuyim. The fact that he said over Tmidi, there's a Nitzchius, the Nivra is not a Keli for it, l'chora. It's not be'erech, the gvul of the nivra. Could you say it's be'erech? It's not be'erech. This is blikvul, this is gvul. But after became this thing, which is shalei be'erech, is not shelo the metzias anivra. It's a blikvul which is expressed in the fact that the nivra has a taken full timugvul. So you see that there's a tnu of blikvul, which is l'chora should be shelo the gather of the nivra, because the nivra himself is mugbul and he can't contain blikvul. And the pile, the blikvul is not expressed right by breaking it. The blikvul is expressed that the nivra has a takeif nitzchi. So that he says that's nimshach from the Indian of Kav. The Indian of Kav is that the blikvul can be nimshach and gvul. But what's it? Not that there's a blikvul, which is an Adam Katan we're saying that there's a darga of pshitis which is be'erech gvul. He was saying the blikvul which is not be'erech gvul, but even though he's not be'erech, in order for him to be Meir and Vel, it doesn't have to be Meir only through being mevatel the mitzvahs of Vel. It can Meir then in gvul. That's the difference. That's the that's the Hemshech HaMaimarim. To explain this. That's he's going to explain the Hemshech HaMaimarim. Exactly. They were here saying the Gufinian. What are these two? He's married. Let's get there. Wie Sheikhs as Azach that Ein Sof should be Nimshech in B'chinas Gvul. So how could Seichel can't explain something which is not a Musig? The reason why Seichel can speak the Ma'al of Kabbalah Seil because Kabbalah Seil is a Musig in Seichel. Azach which is the Chamdish Begader Musig Ein Sof. Wie can this Masber sein in Seichel Musig von Ein Sof? I'm saying good. Das sagt der Gufeni. So I'm sure B'chinas Gvul Mida. Hainu. B'chinas Hakav Achut Nimshech Ein Sof. Shu Amshach is B'chinas Gvul Mida. So what's the mechuvan of this of the Kav? It should be nimshach b'chinas gvul, and the matar of amshachas Kav is liyes b'chinas pnimi ba'elam is. So he's on das verstehen b'pnimi is not to be shelo the mitzvahs elam is not that it should be meir naifin, that the gvul should be nisbatel as levern ois as a bleiben and zayin gather from gvul, and is on the siyashiv be'efin pnimi the Kav b'chinas pnimi ba'elam is. She siyashiv b'chinas pnimi is become this firis. She efshir she kabel b'chinas ein sof. Kiim kasher ba, what's ba? Through the fact that the eir ha blikvul, the eir ain't sof, is ba b'chinas mido gvul. So durch b'chinas hakav, durch them. Let's just keep the brackets for a second. Where is it? Where's the? There's not. Where's that? Okay, that's the Hemshech. Okay, the dot. Here's Gal Chachma. Okay, so here already starts. Yeah, Sakapon, and then in the Agoi here he brings this. We have two shittas in Alter Rebbe. He didn't bring yet the other shit. He brings later here he brings one beer. The Alter Rebbe says that the B'chinas Hakav is lechatchila amshachas ein sof b'chinas gvul. That's one beer of Kav. That the reason the shadish of the gvul, the fact that the Kav is mugbal, so it's a Kav echad kotzer. So the gvul of the Kav is not mitzad tzimtzum, because the lechatchila of the Kav is amshacha. It's the the way it's nimshach b'chinas gvul. So from where stems the gvul, the agbal of the Kav? Because lechatchila is azam isert which is nimshach b'chinas gvul. Because the kavana, the matar of the Eir HaKav is, it should be meir in Eilamis, the B'chinas Pnimis. So the Kav Melchatchil is Eir B'chinas Bulamid. That's one beer that Alter Rebbe brings in Yevila V'Shabbos. Then the Alter Rebbe brings a different beer that Eir HaKav Etzem is Blik Vol. It's Ein Sof Mamish. Punkt HaZevid the Seviv, it's Ein Sof. Sachakel, why is Eir HaKav Mugbal? Because the Tzimtzum is Magbalit it's not that the Eira Kav is Hamshach Shulchan. Kav mitzad atzmi is bli gvul. And the fact that the Eira Kav is nimshach by from Mukbel and Kalim, that's neveh mitzad the Keich HaGvul, mitzad the Tzimtzum, mitzad Gvura, not that the Eira Kav Melchatchil is Eir Mukbel. Dr. Tzvei Biyurim, he's going to quote the second Biyur later in other Kiyakli. But here, he wants to explain.
He didn't say the second Biyur.
Didn't say it, no, he brings it later. He brings only with the first part. According to Alter Rebbe's second Biyur, in the Vila Vishmalchus, Ein Sof is Ein Sof. The ganze Tzimtzum is Neveh Mitzat Tzimtzum. The Hagbala of the Kav is Neveh Mitzat Tzimtzum. But according to the first Biyur, the Alter Rebbe that he brings here, the Hagbala of the Kav is Neveh Mitzat HaGvul, Mitzat the Kav Gufa. The Kav is the Chatchil Hamshach Shulchan Gvulum. So according to that Biyur, we can understand that Atzil is Gilei Helam Legabi Kav, and not Gilei Helam Legabi the Ein Sof. The Gabi, we'll see later the Pratim, but the Gabi, since Kav is the Chatchil Hamshach Shulchan Gvulum Mida, that Inyan is gathered through Atzilus, Mashiach, and the Etzem HaEr, the Atzmis HaEr, which is Ein Sof, that Takaz Yeshmaim. We'll see the Pratim in the Hemshchadar. Yeah, that's Dr. Kav Hamshach Shulchan Gvulum Mida. That's what he said. We read the first beer. That's right. The second beer is Adam Kiyakov. The second beer, the Kav is Bligvul. I the Poil is Nimshach Vei from Mukbul and Vel. That's Mitzad the Tzimtzum, which is Magbul the Kav, not Mitzad the Kav Gul. And the feed this beer, he wants to explain the Tivuch. He's going to say, but in the Agai he brings that this is the two we find we have in the Alter Rebbe's Amar when he gets to Eira Kav, the Vila Vishmalchus. In the Haggah, the Rebbe Shab connects it to another Machlekes HaMekubal. There's Machlekes HaMekubal between the Pardis and the Mareches. What does he bring here? But there's 2 days. We know that Kalim are Gvul. Chachma, Chesed, Gvul, Teferes. So there's a Shaila is, and the the way it's Mislabish in Kalim, so the is Misgala according to the Tzir of the Kalim. There's is Hamlo Bashim Kalim. There's Mislabish Kalim Zeif and Pnimi. But there's Machlekes Kabbalah are the is Misadatz Pshitis. The is are Pshitim. And the whole Tzir is all Mitzad the Kalim. That's one Shitta. And then there's another, that's the Shitta of the Rekanti, that the Eid himself is Pashut, and the whole Tzir comes inside the Kalim. And he brings a mashal of a Melech that he tells that the Melech tells the Avadim they should give Ashpa to the Anshe Medina. He tells one person you give a punishment to someone, and he tells someone else you give a chesed to someone. So the Melech himself doesn't do chesed to Gvura. The Melech himself is mufshit from the chesed to Gvura. He tells 2 sardim, one should do chesed, one should do Gvura. So there's the Eid is Pashut. He Kaviyachol just gives a tzivui to the Keli, that the Keli should be mashpia and even a chacham v'chesed. That's the, according to one shittim, the Eiris are pshutim, the Eiris are pshitis, are ein sof, and the Kelim is only, the tzir is only the ve'im tzat Kelim. Then there's another shitta, the shitta of the Pardis, that the Eiris guf are mitziyah. So the Rebbe Rashab connects these 2 shittas to the 2 biyurim in the Vila Vishmalchus. The shitta that says that the Eiris are that the tzir of chacham v'chesed, the Eir gufa is also Mitzir and Tzir. It's not the same Tzir as Kalim. Tzir of Kalim is Chacham V'Chesed. The Eid being, but the Tzir of the Eid is the way the Eid is Mitzir and Chacham V'Chesed. I said before, even those that say Tzir of Eid, it's the way the Eid is Mitzir. It's not Tzir. It's the Pshittis which is that's how many percent. But the Eid is Mitzir. So that's the Hesem to the Alter Rebbe Nevi Levush Malchus that the Kav is Hamshach Shulchan Gvulum. So the Inla Gvulum starts with Eid itself. Mitzad Eid Gufa is Gvulum. Not the Hagbal of the Kav. It's not neveh mitzad the tzimtzum mitzad the reshimu. Kav l'chatchila is Hamshach Shulchan Gvulum. So that's behesem to the shita that holds that tzir isn't the eres mitzad atzma. Their gufa is mitzir. The other shita that Alter Rebbe brings that the kav is bligvul and the tzimtzum and the hagbala the kav is neveh mitzad tzimtzum. That's behesem to the shita that holds that the eres are pshutim, and the whole gvul is only neveh mitzad the kelim. That's Doctor in the Segraim. He says he's saying the yisod for the 2 biyurim in the Alter Rebbe's Amar Yvilu V'Shmalchus Legabi Kav. So the Alter Rebbe Legabi Eira Kav if it's Gvul or not Gvul. So he says Yedua Sheish Beis Deis V'Nina Eres. That's the Yedua and Kabbalah is 2 days V'Nina Eres. And now here we're not dealing with Eira Kav. We're dealing with the Eres Hamla Bashim Mekalim. So we say that 2 days, 1 day is we're not Alta Shem Pshutim Amish. Ve'Ein Shavim Cheshchav Chesed Kol. And that's brought out in the Maim Revelas Tamat Avos Samachtes. According to this beer in Kabbalah, Lefi Zeh HaKav, which is the Makar of Eir, which is the Makar Eir Amlu Shvekeli, is also Hamshach Shulchan Bligvul Be'etzem. I lepoil the Kav is Mislabish. That's mitzad the Gvul, mitzad the Kav. Shenim that the Kav Guf is Bligvul Be'etzem. The Kav is Ein Sof, and the Kav is no shaychus the Gvul, according to this beer. Shenim that apli Maimer Kav Amida Kamer Yum Shulchan Asar Han Lavas Lachas Akil the Chachma Kam Yishul Chinas Bina. This needs beer. What's the pshat? Han Lavas Lachas Akil Kai Gav Midas. Yeah, it doesn't understand. But the Kav himself, what is the Kav Bligvul? He has no shaychus to tzir. there's a kav amida, a midas hagvura, which is magbel, how much the kav is going to be nimshach in the kelim. Does I'm verstehen? If the kav himself is blig vol amida, how is the shaykhs that the kav amida should be magbel? How much air should be nimshach? If it's blig vol, so blig vol is nimshach. There can't be chilukim in blig vol. There can't be here is nimshach more no hagbala and there is less no hagbala. No hagbala is no hagbala. In the level you can say more or less. But shlilas, when there's no hagbala, so it's blig vol. It's blig vol. What's the pshat? That the kav himself is blig vol be'etzem, but the kav amida is made it. How much kav will be nimshach in every kid? Because I'm verstehen. That's the nekuda is that this is the that's the second beer of it. The other kiyakriv that the eres are not that the eres are pshitim metachlis. There's that base sheberes atzmin is gam kinas sfiris. The tzir hates sham in kid. In gufa there's sfiris. There's tzir. And but it's not b'shave to the tzir of kelim. But in and that the market is the pardis. And mashkarza b'day bilu v'shmalchus. That the kavaz b'chinas v'lomida. That's according to the shita that holds the eres are mitziyarim, or the eres have esesfiris. And the mashkarza b'du sharam irikanti. Ma'amer neratayra. And then, but a lake too, that even that's what I was saying before. Even according to the shita that holds that the kavaz b'chinas v'lomida, that there's esesfiris in air, el esesfiris sheb air b'chinas pshitas v'ayin the gav esesfiris sheb kelim. If he does what kavaz b'chinas v'lomida, that's what he says here. That according to this day, even though the spheres in air, but the tzir in air is pshitas the tzir of kelim. Like I was saying before, the svara which is speaking about the mile of Kabbalah Sa'il is not Kabbalah Sa'il. It's seichel. As no shaykhs the Kabbalah Sa'il. So al derech zeh legabe kli, the tzir of the air is pshitas. The tzir of keli is gvul mamish. Legabe the air, the tzir of the air is pshitas. It doesn't verstehen. We're just saying that's what he says here. Even though we're saying there's spheres in the air, but it's pshitas va'ayin legabe spheres should be keli. But this the pilot says also that even according to the shita that holds that the air is pashut, it's not pashut b'tachlis. And even according to the shita, and then we say that even according to the shita that holds that air is mitzuyer, it's not a regular tzir. It's also pshitas. You have a Maimer named Beis, interessant Zach. He says there that he wants to explain that he's being explaining this shita that there's spheres in the air gufa, the kavaz chnas gulamida. So he says there, but it has nothing to do with the tzir of kelim. So there he says al derech that you have seichel in the neshama and you have the me'ach hagashmi. The me'ach hagashmi is a me'ach hagashmi. L'payel it's a keli to seichel. The seichel to be mislabish in the me'ach. But there's no erech klal. This is the karvalach. The Siddur says the fact that the me'ach hachachim is karvalach, that makes it a keli to the seichel, to the keich ha-seichel shebenefesh. But now understand how exactly the karvalach of me'ach hachachim makes it a keli to the seichel ha-nefesh. But the payil, or since the leiv, this dam, is the chveis slavus, the tichas adamim, so it's a keli to the histrachshus of the nefesh. But there's no erech klal between a physical heart or a physical me'ach to seichel sheben neshama, seichel sheben nefesh alakis. Even though it's both mizak beide the vart seichel of them, but here or seichel anushi, there also seichel anushi, seichel alaki. It's shlei be'erach klal. But I'm not verstehen. But it's the same tenuah. So what I'm saying is, when you see God there's tzir and air, there's chacham v'chesed, but it's a whole different type of chacham v'chesed. So it's a whole different mechuven in the chacham v'chesed. There's chacham v'chesed in yani is chachme, or chacham v'chesed it's. We want to bring out that hulavadi uve'enzolas. We want to bring out that chachma is garnished. In order to bring out the chachma is garnished, we're using the language of chachma. But in yani is not chachma. In yani is to bring out is ein sof. Eid is never a mucker for mitzias, for tzir. Eid is that the mucker should be nizgal, that the eibishter should be nizgal. The eibishter is lam kol ina midasiyu klal. But then I'm saying in Parsha, the tzir in the Eid is that the Eid is nirgash to the tzir. We'll see later in the Maimer more. I'm saying, but the nekudas advarim is that Eid is never tzir. It's always that the pshitas ha'etzem should be nirgash. It's not like Ak. Ak was saying that Ak is the pshitas b'shteitin then that he's not mukbal in a specific tzir. Here, the pshitas b'shteitin tzir, the pshitas is amidis ha'pshitas. The shal is the pshitas in order for it to be nizgale, in order for this emes to be nizgale, it doesn't have to be shelo gvul. He can be nizgale through gvul too. But it's not the nekuda of an inyan which is the shaykhs the tzir. Well, we'll see later more the. So the nekuda is we didn't. Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah. The kav is blik vol. It says that's what he's saying. That's trying to say in the Sigraim. Who's saying? It doesn't say that it's saved. Yeah. Blik vol. That's blik vol. That's Ein Sof Mamish. That's the Ershtam Shacha. That's Ein Sof Mamish. Yeah, isn't it? The base is the Hamshach from the Zbulamida. Why over there? No, you're not understanding right. No, he says he brings the Maimer. There's two biurim in the Maimer, the B'china Verakav. Ein biur the Alter Rebbe sagt that Ein Sof has two Hamshachas. Ein Hamshach B'chinas Blik Vo, which is the Sherish of Seviv, and Hamshach B'chinas Vo, which is Kav. Then the Alter Rebbe says another biur that there's only one Hamshach from Ein Sof. And so wie wird Kav Mukbo? Mitzat Kav and Mitzat Tzimtzum. The erste biur sagt that Mitzat Ein Sof there's two Hamshachas. One Ein Sof and one Kav. Is according to that biur. Is that yesh ma'ayin legabi the first hamshacha? No, yesh ma'ayin legabi the first hamshacha, and legvile helen legabi the gvul. Then there's another biur b'chla that there's only one hamshacha from Ein Sof, and kav is inside the gvul. Yeah. The two shittas that Alter Rebbe explains kav. The Alter Rebbe explains kav in two ways. Is kav a separate hamshacha from Ein Sof, or kav is the same hamshacha but just kav amid? And then that shaila is totally in the machlekes mekubalim if there's tzir in the air or not. That's the biur of yesh ma'ayin. That's what the chmas was. What do we get? We get a bisschen weiter. Yeah, the paragraph. There's another. Okay, with the first line we can start. V'reish is gilei akav u'b'chachma. Means David is after on zog, and that's gilei hela when I yesh ma'ayin. So the zog that the reish is gilei akav u'b'chachma. Means in chsfiras hachachma that silis is not only megale. Elokus be'elokus is be'erech. The miles of chachma, the chachma wird nisgale the air Ein Sof. V'hainish b'chinas keach was the chachma shel b'chinas ha'er u'me'akav. The air hachma is from the kav. According to this biur, Eir HaChacham comes from the Kav. So even mitzad Eir there's Vulomida. So what's the Keli? The Keli is, what it hatches here is, Klei HaChacham Avgil Liyis B'chinas Yesh. Means the fact that Chachma is an Indian for itself, that's B'dugmas B'chinas Yesh. It doesn't mean Yesh Mamash like an Ibra. Means the etzem Indian of Tzir, you have mitzad Eir. But Tzir, the way it is in Eir, in Yoni of Tzir is, that the Ein Sof Gibin is Gal in Tzir. The Tzir is Batul. It's niggish netzir that it's batul legabi lukus. It's a chakal. The Eibishter is not mugbal, and the fact that he's Ein Sof, even chachma could you can even explain that he's Ein Sof. But being masber chachma nishkin inyan nishkin ma'ila. The fact that chachma is garnished is can meir than a chachma as chachma is garnished. But not that chachma is an inyan. The ufta of what's klei chachma lefizeh? Klei chachma is the chachma is a ma'ila. That's b'chinas yesh. The chachma is an inyan. Chachma is a ma'ila. And in the Maimer Lake Tzuda, that the fact that Chachma is a Maila, that's Mushish mitzad Ein Sof, mitzad Market, mitzad Ein Sof, mitzad Sevi. Higher than the Makar of Gilei Helam. According to this word, the Yesh Ma'ayin, the fact that it tells us Yesh Ma'ayin, means I'm saying wrong. The fact that the Keli, which is B'chinas Yesh, has a higher shadish in the air, which is Gilei Akav. The air is Megala the air Akav. Masha'ik the Mitzias of the Keli, the Chachma, the Inyan HaChachma of the Keli, that's Mushish in Ein Sof in Sevi. In the Abshach of B'chinas Ein Sof. You versteht the meaning? Let's just see the Lashon here. It says, Nishas, Keach Mos HaChachma, the Hein of B'chinas is Nikra Yeshmai. Any Nikra Yeshmai. Dafke B'chinas HaKeli, Zershah B'chinas Yeshmai. What's the Yeshmai? Means the Keli, we're going to say later that there's a Nakud of Yeshmai even in Eir. That's he's not speaking about over here. Legabi the Habshacha Rishayna, even the Eir is Yeshmai. It's only Gilei Helam Legabi Akav. Legabi the Hamshacha B'chinas Ein Sof, even the Eir is Yeshmai. Vaz Dr. Da that the Keli is B'chinas Yesh. He doesn't mean Yeshmai and Legabi. He means that the Keli is a B'chin of Yesh. It's the Indian of Metzias. It's the Indian of that there's a Chshivas in Chachma. That's what it means here. Not that it's Ve'ein Arech Tetzmak. There could have Ein Arech that you have an Eir is also Ein Arech. Because the guy with the Habshacha B'chinas of the Eir is Ein Arech. What he means here that B'chinas Yesh is that there's a Nakudah of Metzias in Keli. And this Nakudah he says V'zavusame is Meir Nesav Aseh. Avol ha'er nimshach enu chis yeshmayim. We can't, but just look in the next. It says, he says clearly. He's speaking 3 nanometer. He's saying the air legabe kav is gilei helam, legabe ein sof is yeshmayim. What's yeshmayim in erech? There's no erech between the air and the slavish by kelim. Legabe lamshach, legabe ein sof, legabe lamshach is b'chinas ein sof. Then there is keli. Keli is a mitzias. Keli is an Indian. And that b'chinas yesh, not only in erech. There's a certain chshivus in the Indian of chacham v'chesed, and that the sherish is ein sof aseh v'kolam. I like the Tzunach Havart, he didn't discuss it all the time. In the Furdish. I like the Tzunach Hazar. Speaking about that still is the Yachas of it still is the Gabi Lama, huh? You understand what I'm saying? No, it's a lower dark Gebechitzeni. It's a primis, it's Mushish and Seder. The Sherish is higher than Erekav. The Sherish Shekelim, why does he bring it? It doesn't understand, but I'm saying, this is not what he's speaking about the whole time. Ganset side. Yeah, that's what it was like. He adding over here that Kalim is according to what the Pashas is saying. Once you say that there's tzir in the air, if there's no tzir in the air, we understand why you need Kalim. If you magbo the air, but if the air guf is erach chesed and in Yoni is I'm sure it's gulamide, what do you need Kalim for? So that's he says Kalim is b'chinas yesh. Once while you're at it, so you say that the shadish of Kalim is b'chinas ein sof. Give it that's the from me, but I'm saying that's the. Let's finish they push the Aesius. Avol ha'er shenimshach eini b'chinas yeshmayim. It's gilei helam from the Erekab. And then he says, now this next line is coming to explain everything. The same he said when he gave to Adam Kadmon. That when he says that says that Adam Le'en to Adam Kadmon, he doesn't only say it says Adam Le'en to Adam Kadmon, but we explain why Adam Kadmon is Elyon. You have to explain. You say it's Adam Le'en, so there's a certain yichus that it says. So what's the yichus of it? If Erekab is Amshach Shabbachinas Gulamida, what's the grace of Maile that Atzilus is with Doimet to Erakav? It's not Einsav, it's Amshach Shabbachinas Gulamida. So Vakav Hari Nimshach Chinas Einsav She'er Mein Amar. That's what he says over here. The Kavi, the Nimshach, once we establish that the Eir is that Atzilus, Arek Hagil Elam Erakav, Heftan Redna, Kavi the Nimshach, Mchinas Eir Einsav. And it's Eir, and Eir is Mein Amar. It means Eir is the Gilei Einsav, nicht etwas anderes. Because Adam Elyon, because Adam Elyon, because Kav is Ein Sof. That's a main amar. But there's no parsa. That's the second thing that he says. One of the between, if it's Gilei Helam, is that there's no parsa or no stilik in between. So those Dr. Da. Where the Ribi Ishtashlos, the Kamat and Sumim, Miut, but not parsa and not enough stilik. And we can't get Sakadish Mayim because it's Simsum Derech Miut. Legabe and stuff. That's what you say in the next paragraph. Okay, which prat? Kalim. The kind of answer I'm saying, but it's not negate to call Ham Shamaim. The pashtus. Can I even good? I'm saying that. No. We could go through that and finish the Maimer. So we'll finish the Maimer. Say this. We'll finish the Maimer Sunday. So we'll finish Maimer Sunday and then maybe it's kedai also if you're learning this Maimer. Maybe it's kedai to look at the Sikh and Tazriya Chelik Yitzayim, Tazriya Chodesh. Maybe some prat. Can say, but not more than Sunday because it's kedai to if you could do next week until Va'ininu or to Acheninu. Okay, darf minds and freer in them. Let me see. You can have minds and freer in them. Tomorrow's Thursday. You asked me Thursday. No, Thursday's too late. Wednesday. Is that Wednesday? Well, okay. You asked me Wednesday night. I have to look it up. I don't want to stand still before it. But this, we'll try to finish next week. The full Indian, the new Indian starts after Indian. Starts a new Indian. So a new Indian. We're going to go back to this Indian, but this is the Gemara of Indian. Tilach Indian was the Gemara from the Indian. Danach gibt es eine zweite.